Welcome back to the finals of DP Guayaquil. It's Splashcat versus Scribble, and they're deciding on who plays first. Scribble's on a higher seed. Okay, so Scribble is on the play, which is probably good for them. So Splashcat is on Black-Red Tyrant Maneuver, which is the deck that won last GP. So let's see if Splashcat will get the back-to-back with this deck. This version runs Ash of the Winged Steed, because you can just run it for free in that deck, since it already runs 12 or more dragons or text with dragons.
Yeah, so Scribble's on blue-black discard, and while normally kind of a control shell you'd think would be slightly favored into a mid-range deck, I'm not actually sure that's the case here, particularly because Scribble has very little, and just straight up no instant speed removal.
Right.
Only having 4 Breach the Minds, which is particularly notable because Splashcat's deck plays Sophia.
Right. And Scribble has to mulligan their first hand because it's a one-lander, but they can keep their second hand, I think.
A very solid hand on 6. Turn on a week from... you don't even turn on a week from chess, but those fleeting moments will definitely be able to catch them up in card advantage.
Yeah. So bottom the director. How good is Wave of Decay in this matchup?
I imagine it's pretty necessary, but I think there's also a decent chance that it only hits one thing. It does kill Profane Emissary, gives you some life. Emissary of Antiquity is another scary card.
Yeah, but again, it's sorcery speed, so either you're hitting Emissary which has haste, or the Emissary that's a 4/4, so you need to pay a lot of mana for this thing.
Yeah, it does gain a lot of life though. And we did see in the Black-White Bullet Pools matchup that these kind of mid-range matchups are slow enough that you will get to 5 mana.
Scribble starts off with fetching with Wayfarer's Shrine. They kind of need to fetch Island here, which is bad for Wave of Decay.
It decides to play the Weep from Chaff turn 1.
I mean, why not? You're not doing anything else, right?
Well, I was thinking that maybe you wanted to wait to play the Fleeting Moments.
Good point.
I suppose you do have Shroud the World and Doom, Fleeting Moments. It checks both players' discard, and Splashcat is playing along, as we can see from these 2 pay-ups.
So I guess you discard Wave of Decay plus Shroud?
It's really awkward because, as we mentioned, Wave of Decay is really expensive. So you definitely discard 1. So let's just add the second.
I mean, Scribble's just assuming they're not going to have to deal with any creatures yet, and it seems like their assumption is correct.
They do have Shroud the World and Doom, which is nice.
Splashcat not drawing an early drop.
Like if Splashcat had turn 2 Profane and say, it'd be pretty unfortunate with Scribble. They need to Shroud the World and Doom it, then it probably comes back down.
I mean, it's not like Wave of Decay is going to be answering that thing anytime soon either, right?
Yeah, I guess that's true, because Scribble needs to fetch Island to play the Weep from Chaff in turn 1. It doesn't answer it on turn 3 on the play. Though I guess it doesn't answer it regardless if Splashcat had a pull-up pools.
Yeah, so maybe Scribble should have just led on the swamp and see what lands they drew, and just kept the Weep from Chaff.
Maybe. So imagine this will be Splashcat naming Fleeting Moments and Scribble starting Shroud the World and Doom.
Does Scribble really want to ramp Splashcat up to 3?
You don't really have a choice here. Like you're on 2 lands. Fleeting Moment seems like you're way out of the spot.
So next turn, do you play out Fleeting Moments or do you Valdez first in order to snag your opponent's 3 drop?
Moments. Like Valdez is kind of a crapshoot in this matchup, it feels like. Since there's so many things you don't want to hit on low, and hitting it down again on turn 2 isn't really that great. Or Lucian. Or even Valdez wouldn't be excellent.
Right.
Since you're worried about an MSA coming down.
So I guess Scribble just has to discard Shroud and then just hope that Splashcat doesn't have anything.
That's what it feels like to me.
I mean, do you discard Valdez then?
I feel like you keep Valdez just to make sure that you can keep the Fleeting Moments alive. Because Shroud doesn't force a discard with it if you don't have a creature in play. Or if your opponent doesn't, rather.
Right. Well, Scribble does go for that play.
So it does kind of feel like Scribble's on the back foot, meaning to give your opponent a chance to pay up. Mulligan 6. Weep from Chaff is not the best card to need to play to find lands.
Yeah, but the good news for Scribble is that Splashcat doesn't have anything.
Well, Splashcat has Illusion.
Yeah, but that's not a 3-drop.
Coming down on turn 3.
Actually, no. Not the right mana, right?
Similar Spire just doesn't let you fix foots because Spires makes the mountain ETB tapped, so you can't find the bad peak Spires.
Yep, number 2. Ironically, putting counters onto Fleeting Moments.
And this I think you just always accept.
Splashcat names Bell's Descent instead of Valdez.
Bell's Descent is kind of scary, and I mean, Valdez is bricked by the Cali Abomination from above and the MSA from the Times Breath, I guess, from below. So this solution is always going to come down next turn.
Splashcat fetches Molten Falls instead of the...
Molten Falls fixes Bullet Pools, I guess. I don't think it matters very much, though.
Valdez is finally coming down. I'm sure Scribble's naming high here, because since Splashcat hasn't played any 2-drops yet, Scribble has to assume that Splashcat's holding something good.
Yeah, also just knowing that Hatsum's Maneuver and Scorch are both pretty bad cards in this matchup.
And Kelly's Abomination actually manages to protect Illusion.
Now the spot's looking a bit better for Scribble. They don't have an answer to the solution, though they probably won't ever find an answer to the solution because they don't really have any answer to the solution. They're just the one fair trial.
I mean, you can always play Valdez and try to attack Illusion.
Yeah, that's true. But Splashcat does have a lot of dead removal that can only hit Valdez. But Scribble is hitting their land drops, which means that this Wave Decay is getting powered up, which will gain them some life.
Pretty good hit off Illusion +1, flip the land.
It doesn't have something to spend the mana on, but will help for eventual Hatsu's Maneuver or whatnot.
Another Weed from Chaff, that's really good.
Is it? You're on so few cards. It feels like you almost want to just crack the clue here.
I mean, it puts more counters on the fleeting moments and lets you dig into more stuff. Scribble's going for it and draws 2 lands, so that's...
Yeah, that worked out super well.
I mean, I'm pretty sure Scribble would hope to draw more cards that aren't lands.
Yeah, but if you draw 2 spells, it's also awkward there, because you have more or less have to discard 2 spells.
Yeah, so I guess by drawing lands, you don't have to think as much. Save your mental energy for later. Now you get to play your Hazy Moorland tapped and hold up a clue.
Yeah, so Scribble's getting right up to mana they need to cast the more expensive payoffs.
Okay,
there's drawn one yet.
There's Preplemurasaki.
Unfortunately, a really bad draw here with this Wave Decay in Scribble's hand.
I'm assuming this somewhat Spires is fetching that land that lets your basics tap for colors.
Cloud Peak Spires?
Yeah.
They're not needed at this point. Like, Molten Falls is a really good fix here. Definitely nice though.
Just fetching a basic mountain, I guess, to turn off Crumbling Precipice.
I guess that's fair.
You could have just played Swamp, right? Because you want untap land for next turn. That makes sure you swing in, and Scribble's taking.
So, Splashcat decided to use Illusion first +1 as a card draw.
I mean,
what do you think about just using Illusion +1 to hit Scribble for 3?
Actually, good point, because right now Scribble is the one that's winning in the long game with the fleeting moments, and they're even losing life from it, so you might as well try to race them.
Yeah, I'm just thinking that a lot of Scribble's cards do hurt them. Like, the fleeting moments is a Phyrexian Arena.
Yeah, and also you have a backup emissary, so you can push a lot of damage really quickly. So you should be going for lethal right now.
Granted, Splashcat is looking pretty solid in the long game as well. Again, the solution doesn't have a ton of answers besides the fair trial from Scribble. But if Scribble does manage to find a fair trial, they do have answers to basically everything Splashcat has.
Scribble's going to Wave of Decay one thing. Okay, now Preplemurasaki is open.
And that is the 3rd Wave Decay from Scribble. So they do only have 1 left.
Actually, Scribble using Wave of Decay there was kind of weird, because I feel like you should be trying to get more value from that thing.
Well, at the same time, you really don't want to be taking 6.
Yeah, but you can just gain back all that life off the Wave of Decays.
I guess. I mean, I guess you do know that Splashcat is on a ridiculous amount of burn in hand, but you do know they have another MSA in hand, so that does deal a lot of damage.
Well, Splashcat drew natural pellet pools, so yeah.
It does kind of feel like Scribble's being punished for it.
Tapping 4 mana is also really awkward because they can't do anything else.
Maybe they can find the 4th Wave Decay. Doesn't look like it.
Well, here you just play out all your fleeting moments, right? And hope that you get there.
Well, does Scribble know that they're just... No, I guess Scribble only saw 2 MSAs. Yeah.
Oof, that's bad.
So, Scribble is actually just dead on board. Or dead from our knowledge with this MSA and Illusion Plusing for damage.
Can't they just play Valdez and try to block?
No, because this Tyrant's Breath is also going to be castable, since Splashcat will be on 6 mana.
Oh yeah, good point.
But, yeah, definitely showing some weaknesses in Scribble's deck. Just Lucian coming down turn 3, not being answerable, the Wave of Decay needing to be played, needing to both be discarded early on because it's so expensive, and not being super nice to play with. And so, since there's a kind of tension between waiting for 2 targets and just hitting the one thing. I feel like Scribble still would be super far behind if they did wait on the Wave of Decay.
Yeah.
But maybe would have another turn to potentially draw into exactly what they needed.
I mean, they had fleeting moments plus a clue crack, right? So that's 2 extra cards.
Like, at this point, even if they survive this attack and the fleeting moments afterwards, they need to be hitting more or less exactly Wave Decay or the one of Noxious Upswelling mate, which is not really the spot you want to be in.
Well, that's GG's from Scribble. So if you're rooting for the Black-Red Times Maneuver deck to get the back-to-back GP win, you're in luck.
So Scribble does get maybe Noxious Upswelling? I'm not sure. Maybe that's overkill. Lucian's Trail is kind of interesting.
It kills... Wait, Lucian's Trail doesn't actually answer Lucian, funnily enough.
So my thought is that maybe you can use it as a blocker. Though that's probably I guess Profane MSA is pretty bad too. The Revolution's Drill, because he's only 2-2 if you
Yeah.
animate it. Forbidden Treasure seems mediocre.
Descent's great.
Yeah, Descent is great. Kura's Downfall is probably okay. At the same time, I don't know what Scribble wants to cut from their main deck here. Feels like most of the main deck is pretty good.
Right.
Splashcat, on the other hand, has...
Infected Ego. There you go. That's how you win against bigger decks.
Infected Ego is kind of an intuitive thing to bring in. At the same time, it does almost feel like it runs into Wave Decay and notches up on a bit.
I mean, it gets rid of lands in case your opponent wants to get mana for Wave of Decay.
Yeah, I guess it's probably better than some of the burn, probably.
Also, Sealed Riftway. Do you want that? And Seal the Tomb?
Those don't strike me as cards that you want in this matchup. Scribble does, I guess, have 4 Wheat from Shaft main deck, so maybe you can use Seal the Tomb as discard, in a way, but that seems kind of suspect.
Well, the game has started, so Scribble is looking at their hand. Splashcat's rummaging through their sideboard for their first mate.
Well then. So Scribble has a one lander with a tap land. It does have a Wheat from Shaft. Not sure if they'll throw that back or not. Probably a respectable decision either way. Splashcat has 3 Profane MSAs.
Well, at least they don't have any natural polyp pools, so if Scribble manages to kill every single Profane Emissary before Splashcat untaps, I mean...
Yeah, if Scribble decides to keep this, they do have the send on the Helpless, or at least one of them.
Yeah, and then I guess they have to... Maybe they probably Inquiry the second one, or Valdez the second one.
Yeah, they definitely have answers. It is a bit unfortunate this Flood Morass is the only land.
Well, it's not the worst thing in the world, because at least Scribble gets the Wheat from Shaft before having to start answering Splashcat's march of Profane Emissaries. But Valdez is coming down turn 1, and that's going to mess Scribble up.
Yeah, Valdez is probably the best draw Splashcat could have got in that turn.
I mean low. So Scribble can choose between Descend and Wheat. I think...
And the Wave of Decay.
Oh yeah, right. I think they just discard Wave here then, because they need Descend to survive the early game. No, they discard Descend. That's going to be a huge problem for them now.
Yeah, that seems kind of greedy.
They're thinking, oh.
Like, I mean, Descend does have graveyard value, but it decides to discard Wave of Decay instead.
So does Scribble top deck a land? They do. Okay, that's good for them.
So now, do you still play Wheat from Shaft here? Probably not, right?
No, you save it.
I suppose you can combine it with the Valdez.
You probably Inquiry, I think, just to make sure your opponent doesn't do anything too dangerous.
Well, you could also Fleeting Moments here, just to make sure that you're finding lands.
Right.
Then next turn you can go like Descend, Prying Inquiry.
Valdez.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah, or Prying Inquiry, Valdez. I guess you Prying Inquiry and then decide whether to Descend or Valdez, depending on what your opponent has in hand.
Wave of Decay on top, and then they're not a land. So I think they Wheat from Shaft here just to make sure they hit a land, and if they don't, then they Descend the Profane Emissary. If they do, then they still Descend the Profane Emissary.
Well, I guess they're Descending the Profane Emissary, because that's not an untapped land.
I mean, that's fine. You were Descending it anyway, so like drawing a tap land here is even good for you because you're using your mana more efficiently, technically.
So it does feel a bit awkward that they will do both of the Amortize, since they do only have the 2, and it is a fairly important card in them winning the game. It does feel like they just need to discard both of them.
I mean, you can also discard one of the Wave of Decays and, I guess, Prying Inquiry.
It feels like both those cards are pretty important here. I guess you're not that much on the back foot, because you have the Descend on Helpless to clear up the board here.
Yeah. Okay, that's one Director.
Definitely the first one is really safe. Just discard Wave Decay instead of the second.
I mean, that makes sense. Wave of Decay isn't going to be good until later.
Yeah, but so is Amitai, right?
Good point. You have to send the Profane Emissary and I guess Corpse Bed the Profane Emissary. Does Splashcat deck have anything that cares about Profane Emissary in Yard?
I don't believe so.
Actually, no. You don't even want to exile it because now you lose a target for Descend. Or at least the backside of Descend.
I guess that's fair, though. At the same time, if you're casting Descend, you're also killing something. So I guess Splashcat could have an Infectious Ego post board, or I guess just Valdez.
Yeah.
Which Descend cannot get back. Or Cormorant rather can't get back.
Well, Family Mystery number 2. Can Scribble answer this thing?
I think Scribble's feeling pretty good even if they can't answer it.
Well, that's another tap. Okay, never mind. That's not a tap land.
So now with the Valdez plus Prying Inquiry, Splashcat's just completely out of threats.
They can always top deck more stuff, and they have Valdez floating on adventure.
Yeah, okay, the Valdez is definitely miss the Valdez. But it does become incredibly annoying that they have 5 lands, no threats, and an inactive Profane MSA.
Aren't they just going to fetch a polyp pools?
I guess you could, but at the same time, it feels like almost just drawing a random card would be better, just because you're already a bit flooded.
I guess that's a weakness of Profane Emissary. Like, if you're flooded, you're forced to fetch Apollo pools with this thing.
So at the same time, if you're screwed, you can fetch a follow also for MSA.
Yeah, so pretty good turn from Scribble. It gets some more counters onto fleeting moments.
So this prevent MSA will be able to fetch Kali's Abomination next turn if Scribble doesn't find an answer.
Good point.
Which is nice. And that will also fuel up the Valdez. Oh,
Splashcat
that's really
decides
rough.
to... Oof. Well, they can play Valdez. I mean, like, that's fine, right? You have a Valdez down, you have a Profane Emissary down.
But you do kind of feel like kicking yourself after deciding not to fetch Apollo pools.
I mean, Scribble's
really looking for it. So I think Scribble might be kicking themselves over the decision to discard the Wave Decay.
Yeah. Well, Forgotten Pit, I mean, that thing blocks Valdez.
Yeah, it does, actually. Though it will not if Kali's Abomination is fetched here. And neither will block the Profane Emissary particularly well.
Well, I mean, if Splashcat fetches Polyp pools with Profane Emissary, then they're not fetching Kali's Abomination.
Kali's Abomination is a demon, so Emissary is a 4/4.
Right, good point. Huh. Yeah, I think Scribble's just kind of screwed here.
Yeah, so really being punished for discarding this Wave Decay over the Amitai.
They're playing Wayfarer Shrine and then playing Valdez and keeping it mad for some reason. I guess they want their second basic so that they stop losing life to lands.
I don't have any in play at the moment, but no reason to fetch it.
Yeah, you can cycle this thing later.
Splashcat does fetch Kali's Abomination. I suppose Valdez will be active with Scribble, and Splashcat isn't at that healthy a life total. So Scribble does find a way to decay. Splashcat is then put on the back foot a little bit.
They keep Director Amitai. I mean, I guess if they top deck a land here and play Director, can they get back to the game?
I don't think they can.
You -1, so it turns off all of Splashcat's creatures, and then gets you block with Valdez.
Well, you're going to you're forced to jump the Profane Emissary here. Trade, I guess.
That's not a bad outcome.
Yeah, but you are going to 6 here, then 5 off the fleeting moments. So if you play a single card, Valdez is lethal by itself. And the Abomination is lethal because fleeting moments is not a mate, right?
Right.
Yeah. So it looks like Wave Decay.
Wait, never mind. Knock yourself Welling. There you go.
I mean, that's not the best outcome. Like, Scribble goes to 3 after the Kali's Abomination.
You can still crack the clues.
Yeah, but wait,
and they get some more counters onto the fleeting moments.
Yeah, but that's a problem. They don't want more counters on fleeting moments. Because they go down to 3, the Kali's Abomination makes them discard 2 cards, which makes fleeting moments go up to 3 counters. And that 3 with the fleeting moments on 3.
Good point. Huh.
And they don't actually have any life gain. Oh, I guess Xanagan is life gain.
Yeah, they did not play out their Monument of Queens. Oh wait, they have to fetch with Wayfarer Shrine, so they're losing even more life.
It feels like you're almost just are trying to not fetch with Wayfarer Shrine, but then Xanagan is in out.
And also, you need to crack a clue, so you have to fetch here.
Well, you don't have to.
If you don't fetch, okay.
That's the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, this game felt like it just came down to Scribble discarding Wave Decay over Amitai. Since the Scribble does hold on to the Wave Decay, then they can answer both the Valdez and the Profane Emissary, which means that Splashcat can't fetch Kali's Abomination. Which means that Scribble
drops Amitai and wins from there.
Well, if they're holding on to the Wave Decay, they're not holding on to either Amitai.
Yeah, good point. But I guess they play... Huh. Oh, that's funny, I guess.
Yeah, though Xanagan isn't quite an out since both Emissary and Sophia would just kill Scribble.
Yeah, but does Scribble also get a land with that? Scribble, keep flipping more cards. I want to see.
Okay, and there's another one.
You have Emissaries off the top. Okay.
Yeah, this definitely feels like it maybe not entirely exposed Scribble's deck, but definitely showed some of the weaknesses. With the MSA off the top, not Kali's Abomination being so rough, the reliance of Wave Decay. In both games, Scribble had to discard multiple Wave Decays, right? This game, they'd also discard 2 Wave Decays. And without Wave Decay, they don't have the life gain to deal with even moderately aggressive, hasty threats like Splashcat's on.
So, is this the first back-to-back GP win for a deck in MSEM history?
I don't know. As far as I'm aware, but I haven't been in the format for too long. Oh wait, hold on. No, Scribble had an out. Why did Scribble play Valdez over Descend?
Huh.
In turn 5.
I think Scribble just forgot about it.
I mean, we forgot about it, so fair enough. But yeah, Descend on the Profane Emissary, grab. I guess Profane Emissary is the only thing they could grab there. That means that Splashcat's left with Valdez and 2 lands in hand. And the Valdez would importantly not be active, then Scribble could just slam Amitai next turn and be at a healthy life roll.
Yeah.
With jump blockers for the Valdez, even if it did happen.
Well, that's painful.
It's definitely not a clear win after that, I think, since Amitai definitely doesn't win this matchup on the spot with like haste creatures being annoying if you try to +1.
Yeah.
But it does feel like Scribble could have played a lot more to their outs.
Right.
In game 2 at the very least. So congratulations to Splashcat.
Thank you.
First of all,
You managed to make the deck get the back-to-back GP win.
Yeah, I wasn't entirely expecting to just win with the same deck that won last time, but I was like, this looks fun to play. I should try it. And it worked.
Well, it's a pretty solid deck. Actually, so the funny thing is, you know how Kai was planning on doing a video with us, and we were recording it yesterday?
Vaguely, yeah.
Yeah, so Tyrant's Breath was one of the cards that we showed Caillou.
And the impression of the card was that it would never win a GP.
Well, to be fair, Tyrant's Breath didn't win this GP. It didn't do anything.
I would not have made it this far without Tyrant's Breath. Being able to just, like, almost... It's not actually main decking a board wipe, but sometimes it feels like it against Figure Vomit. It's like, I would not have made it this far without a kill spell that could hit multiple things.
Yeah, having your board wipe also be really good single target removal is really nice.
Yeah, it's like, what makes this deck so good, I think, is that it's playing powerful synergies, but it doesn't have to play any bad cards to enable them.
It's very consistent.
Like, most the deck's overall card quality is huge. The only cards that would be kind of dubious in a vacuum are, like, Tyrant's Breath and Hetsuo's Maneuver. And Maneuver lines up decently well into the meta anyways, because there's a ton of 1-toughness creatures around. And
Yeah.
Tyrant's Breath, its floor is still Hero's Downfall, and that's not the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, definitely one of the hallmarks of a good deck, and honestly just one of the hallmarks of these kind of red-black or black-based mid-range shells.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a bit more synergistic than your stereotypical rock deck, but it's not a combo deck. It's just playing a lot of the best cards in the format and managing to also get synergy out of them.
Yeah. So you want to go through some of the decisions?
Sure.
There were a lot of upsetting decisions in that match.
There were?
So I think on Scribble's side, more than your side, I think game 1 was mostly straightforward. There's a couple of interesting decisions on like the pay up on turn 1, but I think keeping fleeting moments was probably necessary. Game 2, I think the first moment I was kind of confused. I was discarding a wave decay over the second Amitai.
Yeah, I kept Amitai because I thought that if Splash resolved Illusion, I would really need an Amitai to handle that, and I felt that with my fleeting moments and other card draw, I would be able to get to 6 mana if I could just stabilize. And Wave is a bit more replaceable because I've got a lot more creature removal than Planeswalker removal. I could definitely see that being a wrong decision, though. I thought a lot about it, so it could have gone either way. But yeah, I was very upset to have to discard, I think, 4 Wave of Decays over those 2 games to my Wheat from Chaps.
In hindsight, the Velays, it definitely seemed like an era with the Profane MSA and the Valdez being easily answered by Wave decay that you didn't end up having.
I feel like even if I did have Lucian, I would have gone +2 on cards by the time Amitai comes down.
Yeah, I definitely didn't feel like I had a clean answer to any of those things. It was a sketchy decision. It could definitely have been a wrong decision.
And then later on that same game, you did have a Descend on the Helpless in the graveyard when you played the Valdez. I'm curious on your thoughts on playing the Valdez, or if you just missed the Descend in the graveyard.
Yeah, because we missed it during commentary, and Purple only realized it way after the game was over.
Yeah.
I knew the Descend was there. I made a conscious choice to Valdez over Descend. I can't remember 100% why. Descending may have been better there. Yeah, I'm not too sure, to be honest. I think I wanted the bigger body, and I don't know, maybe Descending just would have been better to be able to kill Emissary and then also revive it.
Yeah, that would have been a 2 creature on the board swing. I think it would have kind of just been better.
Yeah, maybe more importantly, it makes it so Splashcat can't fetch the Callie's Abomination.
I hadn't thought of that. Okay, so I used my double discard and I took Splashcat down to 2 lands, and I was thinking, okay, 2 lands in hand, no spells except Valdez in exile. There's no way that Profane Emissary is going to fetch up a Polyp Pools because that puts 3 lands in hand. And I was like, okay, so they're just not going to search anything for Profane Emissary? I'll be fine. And I completely forgot that Kalia's Abomination was fetchable.
Okay, so then I did make a mistake then, and you just didn't quite capitalize on it, because I considered fetching Kalia's Abomination turn 4 rather than drawing and ultimately drawing a land. But I was like, okay, what if it just gets discarded if I pull the turn early? I can't remember if you actually had a discard spell or not, But I seriously was considering that, like, do I play around the discard or do I play around the removal? And I ultimately decided that I would just take the draw and hope to draw something that wasn't a land and grab Kellius next turn.
That feels fair to me, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if one path was clearly better than the other, but I did draw a land, which kind of sucked. And if you'd killed Emissary, I would have been in a ton of trouble.
I don't think it's necessarily like a clear win for Scribble or anything like that after if
definitely
like Descend was played or Wave was tapped or anything like that. Since Splashcat does still have a lot of nasty threats for Scribble to deal with, and we didn't see
it would have kind of turned into a top deck war.
Mm-hmm.
And Scribble had more card draw but a lot less life, and it would have really come down to, can I top deck Reach before Scribble top decks Xanagan? Or something else to stabilize. And Xanagan was right there.
There was a top deck Xanagan.
So like something I realized before the game started was that Scribble doesn't actually have an answer to Sophia, which I thought was interesting.
Oh yeah.
I have Breached the Mind.
I
mean, I guess that's an answer.
No,
it's not a good one.
I cited for Breach the Mind's out in game 2.
You can block it. You can block Sophia with Valdez. That's kind of an answer.
Probably about it, yeah.
The God Pit can block Sophia, I guess, if you want to pay 4 mana every turn.
Well, I guess Amentai making stuff lose haste might also be a way to secure the game. But then you're not tossing Amentai, which is annoying.
Yeah, the deck is definitely more tech to other matchups rather than this one. And there were a lot of specific interactions where I was just like, the tools in my deck really stuck against this exact deck.
I felt like I was in a fairly good matchup here. I was like, okay, I'm not reliant on specific cards that'll really hurt if they get discarded. I'm not extending so much onto the board that I'll get run out by the board wipes.
The point at which I knew that it was going to go real downhill was in game 1 after I mulliganed, and I kept a hand where I could turn one Wheat from Chaff, but I would have to Wayfarer's Shrine into a basic island. And this deck really does not want to be searching for that basic island.
Oh,
yeah. So as soon as I ever have to search for that basic island, I know I'm in trouble.
Yeah, your draws were kind of awkward there, game 1.
Yeah, I think both games, the first hand, I started with a 1-lander with my, Flooded Morass, tap land as the only land. And I was just like, this is the second game I decided to keep it to turn to Wheat from Chaff.
Both games I took some risks on my keep. Game 1, I kept a hand with no pressure because I was like, I think I can just ride an early Lucy into victory. And game 2, I kept a hand with 3 profane emissaries.
And somehow Scribble actually managed to answer most of them.
Yeah, I was fully expecting to go turn 2 emissary, turn 3 fetch Polyp Pool's emissary, and just hope I didn't get wrecked by Wave of Decay. And I was like, okay, you were discarding a Wave of Decay. I'm feeling better. And then
I think that might have been correct there. I'm not sure. To discard the Wave to your Valdez, when I switched from Descend to Wave, I feel like that was the right decision.
I didn't have the Valdez.
It would have been a while.
I didn't have the Valdez in my opener. I was expecting to go turn 1 fetch Molten Falls.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, I'm just going to try and beat down with my 4/4s and draw a Kalia. And then turn 5 draw Kalia so they haven't killed them all. And then I started drawing lands. And then things got a little more awkward.
Well, lands does let you cast Kalia's Abomination.
Well, I started drawing lands and I was like, oh, okay, I can't fetch Polyp Pools now because I'm drawing a ton of lands. But I did not.
Yeah, I think on commentary we agreed with discarding the first Wave Decay in game 2, since you do have the send to answer any kind of early threat, and with like guaranteed lands, it's a bit annoying.
Yeah, I definitely whiffed on a couple land draws in a row in game 2. I think I finally got one, and it was a tap land, and I was like, this is the perfect storm of bad.
I mean, the tap land was alright, I think, because you still spent all your mana that turn, right?
It's true. I had another line I wanted to do, but I could spend my mana, so it was okay. Just didn't quite match up to the speed of Splash's deck.
What did you board in when you took out the counter spells?
What did I board in? I boarded in my 2 Noxious Upwellings and 2 Descend of the Helpless. And I didn't really know what to take out because everything seemed solid. So I thought I'd just take out Breach the Mind because you had a bunch of card draw, so like playing that resource grind game of making you discard 2 for your 1 card felt not the best.
I don't actually feel like I have that much card draw. I showed all my card draw in game 1. I've got Lucian, I've got some clues, I've got Xanagan. Like, I have some powerful card draw engines, but I only have a few of them, and I can easily just not draw them.
That's true, yeah.
Theoretically, if you empty my hand, I might be in trouble. I tend to kind of do well anyways because my top decks are better than most decks, but you're an actual control deck, and you're the first actual control deck I've played this GP, I think. And it's like, you will win the game if it really comes down to grinding, unless I've managed to hit you enough that you die to your own fleeting memories.
Well, I almost came to that.
Yep.
I think this was the first game where I didn't side out at least 2 fleeting memories. Game 2. This is like the only matchup where it feels like being able to draw those extra cards at the cost of life was important. All the other matchups were, I just need to outlast them. Like fleeting memories is going to deal more damage to me than it's actually preventing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And it was important here, and getting able to play them both on turn 2 here was good, just not quite good enough. I haven't been that impressed with the card overall. Maybe it's a
Yeah, it felt good in this matchup, but not in most.
Mm.
And it wasn't even amazing in this matchup because I wasn't back putting pressure on you.
Yeah.
Yeah. What I did when sideboarding was I cut 3 Hetsuru's Maneuver and 1 Tyrant's Breath, and then I brought in all 4 Infectious Egos.
Okay, so you did bring in the Egos. We were talking about that during commentary.
I suppose, yeah, this matchup, it was less so about siding in good sideboard answers or threats and more so siding out bad cards from the main.
Yeah, I mean, like, Ego is a solid threat, but I'm not expecting to actually knock you out of the game with it. And you have junk permanents you can sacrifice.
Yeah, like fleeting memories.
It's just, I am increasing my threat density by a bit. Maybe it'll matter.
Yeah. I always knew Kali's Abomination was just going to, like, slaughter me one day. Just discarding 4 cards to it.
Yep.
That is backbreaking.
Yeah, and, like, amazing though it would be if I finish off the GP by making 16 1/1 warrior tokens. That combo is not going to work against a deck that's not creature-based.
Yeah,
I could have played Veldez a couple turns in game 1, but I was like, no, I've seen the Tyrant's Breath in your hand. I think I'd rather it just run away there rather than give you a target for it.
Yeah. So yeah, good games. Congrats.
Great games, yeah.
Yeah, congrats on
I can't even be
finals.
mad. This is my 3rd time making a finals, and I've lost every single time.
Oh no.
It's destiny.
Scribble yet to get a DP win so far.
This is definitely the closest match, even though it was 0-2. Just the other 2 matches, I think I was against either combo or ridiculous value, and I just stood not even a chance. So this is the closest one, so I can be happy with that. I'm satisfied.
My first time I made it to the finals, I was playing Leyline Alignment Field combo, the most broken version, and then I still just got kind of dismantled by Dodger playing Unearth and attacking me. Like, I love my combo. Where did my combo go?
Okay, anyways, I should probably do the outro, but Asti's not here to do the outro for me.
Quick, Asti.
They're on the phone, I can't.
Oh no.
Purple, do the outro for me.
Well, this has been the finals of GP Guayaquil, featuring Scribble and Splashcat in the finals. Splashcat ends up taking it home with same deck that won last GP in Dragonfire Covenant. Thanks for watching.